What's up guys, and welcome to my very first stock analysis video. Today we're going to be looking at the Boohoo Group, which is an online fashion retailer based in the UK, predominantly aimed at young adults, and it really focuses on fast fashion. So this is something I'll cover later on in the video, but it's one of the core strengths of the business. If you're new around here, consider liking, commenting down below, and also, if you learn something new, consider subscribing for more videos like this. Let's get on with the video. So guys, the first thing we're going to look at right now is the stock price. From right the way when the company started back in 2006, and then right the way through to where it is currently. So if you look at the early days, it started really low. And for all you American investors out there, this is based on the London Stock Exchange. So it's GBX, which is in pence, so not dollars. So it hasn't suddenly ramped up, to $400, which would be lovely, but it hasn't. So if we look right the way back, you're starting at 30 pence. It has seen considerable growth throughout the years and really taking off in that early 2019 period, and then it's been pretty consistent, but really during the pandemic is when it really took off. So it had a sudden dip, kind of there going down to that 180 mark, but then as soon as we kind of bounce back from that, it hiked all the way up to 400, 410, and it suddenly declined in the last week, but I'll cover that later in the video. But really strong performance over the years. Right from its inception, it's up 1,300%, which is amazing for any stock, and it's really seen growth over the years, and this is what we want to see in a stock. We tend to not want stocks which are on a downtrend, especially this is not a dividends paying stock, it's a growth stock currently. So in March it's up 78%, which is really strong. I mean, it's had a terrific rebound, and I think this is due to its online sales and ability to function over the pandemic when a lot of retail outlets have been closed, and where Boohoo is predominantly an online retailer. This is where it's similar to things like Amazon, which have seen massive hikes in business, which is great for the pandemic. So guys, let's look at something really exciting, and this is the group's past performance over the last year, so 2019 to the end of the financial year 2020. And I mean, oh my god, if you're a numbers guy, this is beautiful right here. So revenue up 44%, which is almost half an additional business in terms of value, which is great. You've got strong revenues, all geographies, with the UK up 39%, and international sales up 51%, which is absolutely great. And then you've also got at the bottom here a robust balance sheet with a net cash of £240.7 million, which is really important during times like this, when having cash to hand allows them to make more risk plays and do mergers and acquisitions, which they have done. I'll talk about in a bit. But I mean, this is just, if you're a numbers guy, this is absolutely beautiful. And also guys, this is something I really want to touch on, it's not just a UK-based online retailer, it is going global, and it's really looking to expand into the US, which is a huge fashion market. You've got the rest of Europe here, but predominantly a strong UK base, but at the same time it is looking to expand into other areas of the world, which is always nice to see, and diversifies its portfolio in terms of revenue streams from different countries. So guys, let's also look at some of the key characteristics which make the Boohoo Group look exceptionally exciting for myself in terms of an investor. Don't just look at the numbers when you invest, look at, is it a high quality business? Does that business have a future? Is it going places? Is it, reacting to the external market? Is it in touch with its customers? And I think this is one of the really core things that the Boohoo Group does get right. So if you look down the left hand side, you've got its brands, you've got Boohoo, Boohoo Man, Pretty Little Thing, Nasty Gal, Miss Papa, I think those are all aimed at like the younger adults, so between the ages of 18 to mid-20s, which is the demographic they're really targeting. But the group is also looking to expand that and go for slightly more mature females. So the Karen Mirror and Coast are aimed at that slightly older female, which is between 28 and mid-30s, which is they're expanding their demographic of who they want to reach out to. So guys, let's look at the right hand side, and this is where the business really excites me. So if you look challenging the fashion market, and I think the key thing to take away here is it understands what the customers want. And this is something really unique to the Boohoo group, where they are very in touch with their customers. They run something called fast fashion, where they will release a certain product and analyze how customers are responding to that particular product, and then make tweaks on that product based off customer feedback and if it's selling or not. So they're very in touch with their customers, and they have a very fast cycle of viewing something on the catwalk and then putting that straight into production in a mini series run to then quickly test that product with the market. And it does it very fast, so it's not like seasonal fashion where you go through a massive research and development cycle. It is very quick to look at new fashion, quickly test it with its customers and respond rapidly. And I think that's so important in a kind of ever-changing world, especially with fashion. Everybody knows, well, not me, I always wear a black t-shirt or something very simple, but fashion itself is very fast and things come and go. Being able to respond that quickly is absolutely great. So if we look, responsible, loads of companies are under pressure now to go to carbon net zero, and this is just something absolutely great to see in any kind of business, because having that kind of social agenda is really important. They're global, we operate in a global market, unhindered by borders, language and physical presence. An online retailer can spread internationally, and that is absolutely great to see. It's connected, and this is just an absolute joke. In terms of social presence, in terms of social network presence, this is an amazing company in terms of its social media coverage. So with Pretty Little Things, that was started by Little Mix, and then the Boohoo group bought it off them, and it came with such a massive social media following that they have such an advertising platform through these. And I mean, if in the annual report they actually put the company's social media stats, that's how much importance this has. And I think that's absolutely great, because for those slightly younger adults, social media is a massive part of their life, and having that kind of connection to the customers through that social media is great. And they're fast, hundreds of new products and daily, and the top sellers are rebought within days. And I think this is that kind of cycle of fast fashion, which is absolutely great to see. Right guys, let's look at the balance sheet. So as we can see, the Boohoo group has a total assets of 382 million, which is really good. And I think the thing to note here is how much it has in cash. It has 245 million pounds in cash. And during this time period, that's really key, because that is cash it can put to work, and also reduces any kind of threats incoming from the current situation businesses find themselves in. So it definitely has enough cash to float itself during this period. I mean, if we compare this to the total liabilities, which sit at 241 million pounds, it's definitely got more than enough total assets to cover itself during this period. So with the cash, it could easily pay off all of that debt if it needed to, which is absolutely great to see. Boom. Right guys, and they aren't just sitting on that cash, they are putting it to work, which is exactly what we want them to do. So if you look, Boohoo has recently bought the online divisions of Oasis and Warehouse for 5.25 million. And I think this is really key for the business, because it diversifies the product ranges that it offers. You've got the Boohoo and Little Mix, which are targeting the slightly younger generations, where you've got companies like Oasis and Warehouse, which are going for that more mature demographic, which is really nice to see the business diversifying its portfolio of products, which should then help it become a more established online platform. Right guys, here's another reason why I believe the stock is going to go up in the future, is that, you know, consumer habits are changing. If we think about it, people are doing more and more online shopping, and due to what's going on in the world right now, that has only increased. And I think, you know, everybody knows the saying, you know, 60 days to make a habit. And I think a lot of people have switched to doing preferably online shopping during this period. And there's a report which says 73 of millennials and Gen Z say they will buy more online post-pandemic. And I think that's really important. Is key is that people are shifting online. People are saying, I only need Amazon anymore. And I think we are heading into that world, and that's something to consider when going for these predominantly only online businesses. So if we look at other fashion retailers, they have things like high overheads, so they have to pay for their own stores, whereas people like the Boohoo group have an online network, but they don't actually own a lot of retail assets apart from the outlets themselves. So that's another thing to consider, and something I would definitely keep an eye on when looking at a business. Right guys, this is some more exciting news, but it's got to come with a bit of caution. So recently there's been a new scheme which has been put into the business where what it says is the top executives will share a maximum payout of a bonus equaling 150 million if Boohoo's market value can be increased by 66% from 4.5 billion to 7.5 by June 2023. I think this is really kind of key, is where they have put in their own bonus scheme for the top execs in the Boohoo group to push the share price up. And I think this is where it's got to come with a bit of caution, because there is, I guess, on the streets, this is a bit contentious at the moment, because they did this without the shareholders' permission, in terms that the executive group put this benchmark in themselves and it wasn't agreed on by the shareholders. However, the target is going to push up that share price, which is great for growth. And I think it's one of those things where, because of this new target, we will see growth in the shares. I think it's, you know, it's really exciting for me, but it's got to come with some caution, because there has been a lot of discussions online, and you can go and read lots of newspapers about this, where they got under a lot of stick, and I'll link some down in the description below, where they got under a lot of stick for doing this without the shareholders' permission, which, you know, is something I think is really important, is where you want the executives to listen and, you know, essentially work for the shareholders, because that's what the business is actually there to do. However, you know, excited to see this. It means, you know, the stock is potentially going to go up, and I think it absolutely will, which is why I'm really excited. Right guys, there's one more thing I want to mention about the Boohoo group. So last week there was some speculative new information in the news that got leaked, and if you live in the UK, I think you know what this is regarding. It's regarding Leicester and its current predicament that it's in, and the Boohoo group has been linked to this. I think this is something, you know, you've got to weigh up yourself, and I don't think it's going to have a long-lasting impact on the business, but I think it's very important to read the articles. I'll link some below about this, and I don't want to talk about it too much because of the policies on YouTube about talking about anything like this recently. But do your own investigation on this, because I think it is something that's really potentially has a negative impact on the brand image around the Boohoo group, and it's really important that you do your own due diligence on this share. Right guys, that is it. That is all I have for you today. I just want to say, if you've really enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any thoughts on the Boohoo group as a potential stock. I just want to make some notes really clear that any video on YouTube is a speculative evaluation of a stock, and you should always do your own due diligence on the stock before buying. I'm not a financial advisor. I am simply somebody who is passionate about getting into investing and taking you on a journey with me. So tell me what you guys think of Boohoo Group. Are you going to invest? I've invested around £600, so it's around 10% of my portfolio right now, and it's something I do want to look at buying more of, but I'm waiting for it to dip a bit. I definitely see there is a huge potential in the Boohoo Group in the way it's set up its platform and the future going forward. I think online retailers in general, if you look at Amazon, when it started £14 a share, and where we are now, $2,600, which is just insane. I don't think the Boohoo Group has that growth, but I think it's really important. You've sometimes got to take a risk. And I definitely like the way it's positioned its business. It's fast in this ever-changing world that is so important. But anyway, guys, have an amazing day. Smash that like button. Drop me a comment down below and potentially subscribe if you guys want to see more videos like this. See you later.